guys, and welcome to our first home team, Tech It.
Second.
The pilot doesn't count, Youssef.
Okay, fine.
The pilot was like the introduction to the
Yeah.
podcast. Today is our official
Yeah.
first home team, Tech It or Leave It podcast episode. I'm your co-host, Lana and
And I'm Youssef.
We're
Just
not gonna do last.
Youssef.
Okay,
Yeah.
just Youssef.
Yeah.
And today we're actually, before we get into today actually, if you like our episodes and our guests and kind of the community that we're growing, please like, follow, and subscribe on all podcasting platforms / social media. Our handles are Tech It or Leave It podcast on Instagram, Tech It or Leave It. We'll put it in the show notes.
Yeah, we'll put it in the
description. But basically,
description.
follow us, subscribe, so we can keep and continue to make this podcast happen bi-weekly and get you the coolest guests, honestly. So today's topic of discussion, we're going to kind of do these bite-sized episodes. But today's topic, I kind of realized that Youssef and I don't think really we really haven't dove into like what we do for a living and how that like correlates to like what the podcast is kind of about, what the inspiration came from. But Tech It or Leave It is the #1 podcast for Web3 and emerging technology. And we work at Luna PR.
Yeah.
And I think it's an important conversation to have of how we have managed, or I mean, I've only been here for a recent amount of time, but how the company has managed to bridge this gap between PR, marketing, social community to Web3. So I kind of want to start off, Youssef, by you kind of explaining how, I mean, you did a bit in the pilot episode, but like, you don't have a background in PR.
No, I don't.
You don't.
No.
It's business, I
No.
think. You said, or finance.
Yeah, finance.
So like how you went into like that, into PR was, and how you kind of bridge that gap, because I think we have very different backgrounds, but yet we're both here.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting that you say that because Luna PR, one of Luna PR's sayings is that we translate the technical news to the layman.
Yeah.
Like if something technical is happening in the market, or
Yeah.
if our client is coming out with a product that's like super tech heavy, we know as a company how to make it interesting.
Totally.
So like we've never had a conversation on this podcast about Web3 that goes over anyone's heads.
Yes,
Right.
yeah.
So, but at the same time, someone who's like deep into Web3 would still be interested. Finding that balance is something that we do.
Yeah.
How did I get into it? I come from a finance background. And so in university, actually, I used to be a tutor. Right. And so I'm used to the exercise of taking like a formula or taking something that's complex, so long as I understand it
Yeah.
deeply. And which I do in Web3. I've been in Web3 for a long time. That's why I looked older than I am.
The stress.
The stress. And so I just break it down bit by bit and explain it. And I try to find a balance of not taking too long to explain something, but also make it interesting, right? So fundamental ideas of decentralization,
Yeah.
money, philosophical ideas of what is sound money. All that comes into play of what we are trying to market here for our clients, because all of our clients come from some sort of derivative of what problem is this solving. That's it. And we just know how to say it.
Yeah.
Right. Now, it's interesting that you say that because we're kind of yin and yang.
We
right?
are, by the way. That's why the
Yes.
podcast
Yeah.
works. Literally,
Yeah.
we are yin and yang.
Yeah. So I don't come from a PR background. I come from a tech background or fintech background, and you come from a PR background.
Like heavy PR.
Heavy PR background.
Marketing. It literally was my undergraduate major was fashion media, journalism, and advertising. Then
Yeah.
I did a master's in strategic communications, then worked at a massive agency, one of the top leading PR firms in the world. They have like, they're all over the world, but for 7 years. And that's like when I, like, of course, when you learn in university, okay, it's education, but like practicing,
Yeah.
it's a whole different
It is.
world. So,
It is.
like taking those skills that I learned, but actually like doing them for clients and client servicing, because I feel like when I was like in, for example, my journalism classes, like, right, it's about writing press releases, it's about writing features, writing articles, but then I feel like the part that you forget about is the client servicing part, which is a big chunk of PR is
Yeah.
client servicing or being in an agency.
Yeah.
So I feel like that skill,
Yeah.
I've had good clients, not so good clients, but
Yeah.
that skill of having to deal with people, I swear if you know how to do that, you will succeed in this field.
Oh yeah. In most fields,
In
actually.
most fields,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
probably
Like if
true.
you nail down communicating, effective
Yeah,
communication with just enough charisma to get by, even if you're an introvert
yeah,
like me, then you'll go far. I mean, we're kind of an example of that, is in the fact that this company is just about bridging a gap of PR and Web3.
yeah,
You come from a PR background, you know how to do that.
yeah,
I come from a Web3 background, I know how to do that. And communication, effective
yeah,
communication, like with our clients, for example,
yeah,
a lot of our clients are also new to PR, right? Like
true.
they've gotten the funding, they've gotten the tech down, they've gotten the product down, but sometimes we have to train them in PR. We have to train them how to,
Kind of teach them as well, like
yeah,
the possibilities and opportunities there are in having a PR firm and why it's important. Because I know, like, even if you look at like founders of a lot of these, because like they come from tech backgrounds, which makes sense. I mean, like
yeah,
what they built is amazing, but they do come from that tech background. So I think also understanding, like, having them understand that having like a spokesperson for your company is so important.
yeah.
And I can see that, like, the learning curve to understanding that, like, there's a bit of a gap between that.
Yeah. And a lot of our clients know that, right? That's why
Yeah,
they come to us in the first place. Um, some of them don't, but the ones that do, even them, we kind of have to train them on the how-tos of
totally.
getting there. You're not going to get on the cover of Forbes in your first pitch,
Yeah,
right? Like you're not
yeah,
like aligning expectations, explaining why a press release should be done this way, or explaining why a thought leadership article should be done that way, and helping with the draft, helping with the ideation, brainstorm, take it from like absolute scratch to an announcement, like a press release announcement. And sometimes bridging that gap from a business development perspective, getting new clients,
mm-hmm,
it's so hard if they don't already have that PR muscle trained
yes,
already, like to explain to them why they need this. But for someone who needs it and knows who needs it,
yep,
it's a very easy explanation. Like the value proposition is like, you know, the value proposition is there. Instead of, and even if you do hire your own PR in-house team, we like that because we
yeah,
usually serve as an extension to that, right? We're
yeah,
not, you know what I mean? And so, yeah, I mean, for us, it's a practice of uh, we take your news and bring it to the journalists, bring it to the editors, and get the news out there. But we also make sure that the message is also clear, concise, and interesting at the end of the day, because at the end of the day, it's people like us reading the news, right? Like, why
100%.
would we care about something like this? And we answer that
Let's find
question
the
for,
spicy angle.
yeah, yeah,
Spicy
yeah.
angle.
And we answer that question across the board.
Yeah,
And that's kind of why we're doing this podcast, right?
yeah,
Is
yeah,
that
yeah.
there's a lot of aunties and stuff where I sit on like a dinner table and they go like, "Oh, what's this Bitcoin thing? What do you do? What do you even do in your
Yeah,
job?"
yeah, yeah.
And that, to an extent that'll never go away because that's, I guess, it's the nature with most jobs, right? Like I don't really know what a lot of people do during the day, but that's what we're trying to debunk here. It's not magic, it's just work.
No, it's not magic, it's
Yeah.
just work. I mean, that's a good way to put it. I also feel like like in the last 7 years before coming to Luna, I was part of a lot of different projects. Like I was part of like a foundation in Saudi Arabia that was all about entrepreneurs, like feeding an entrepreneur through the youth in Saudi. I was part of like World Government Summit, WGS here. I've been part of a lot of like government lifestyle oriented clients. And kind of like you always like, once you have, I feel like the skill set of PR, marketing and stuff like that, it's about like when you onboard a client, you want to know exactly what they're doing and understanding that. So obviously having 7 years of experience, can say I'm pretty good at my job, but I think the biggest challenge that I faced in like maybe my first 2 weeks at Luna, I wasn't even on board as any accounts, was understanding, okay, when you take a client, like yes, as usual, I onboard them and I understand what they do, but I think with Web3 clients, there is another layer to it, and it's that technical expertise that will benefit you. So I took it upon myself, and I think you could probably, actually, let's have a conversation about like crypto
Yeah.
and you'll see how much I've improved. But
Yeah.
I really took it on myself to really understand what's happening in the news, because I used to do that anyways, but now I'm like just shifting my publication reading
Right.
maybe.
Yeah. Yeah.
So maybe not like Harper's Bazaar every day.
Yeah.
Or you know what I mean, those lifestyle brands, or yeah, Bazaar. But uh kind of like also understanding, okay, now I'm just like shifting my focus from understanding what's going in the news in this sector to this sector. And also understanding, having that technical expertise of understanding at least what the landscape is bringing and how it's constantly evolving is beneficial. So it's kind of like weaving that knowledge into then PR marketing. And now like I can successfully say that
Yeah.
having I mean, you're on account with me too. I think you can also see
Yeah.
the we actually, we're perfect on this account because we
Yeah.
kind of both bring our own skill sets. But I feel like that's what Luna, it makes Luna so special, is that you have strong and strong, and then when you're on teams together, it's just like a power team, really.
Yeah.
It kind of
Yeah.
can speak to that from a lot of my clients that I'm working on.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And look, at the end of the day, when it comes to understanding something, right? For me, I take the approach of like, I, when I when I first came into Web3, I really didn't understand any of it,
Yeah.
right? And like anyone does, right? No one actually, and I, to an extent, I'm not like a developer or anything, so there's still like a huge amount for me to learn. Coming at it with a humble approach is, at least internally with a humble approach, is absolutely crucial for you to break something down
Mm,
and understand it.
yeah.
Like, and that's the approach that I take when I'm training people, when I'm tutoring in university, or when I speak to a client, or when I really speak to anyone. Right? I don't talk over people's heads, but at the same time, I'm not patronizing. Effective communication is so important that, like, I come in and I say, look, I am an absolute dumbass,
Yeah.
right? And I am. And the thing is, if I'm able to achieve a level of understanding that's, that's here, that means you could do anyone can do it, right? And that if you establish that idea, if you establish that authority, that, this is the steps that we're going to break down to understand the problem that crypto is trying to solve, then it becomes super clear. And when you get to a point where you can look at a client or look at a project or look at a token and do a bit of research about it, understand it, and say, and start critiquing that idea, and you say like, oh, but actually this doesn't add up, or maybe asking the right questions of like, yeah, but what are they doing about their tokenomics, or
Yeah.
what are they doing
Yeah.
about so and so, right? um when you start understanding where gaps are,
Mm,
you start being able to you start developing the muscles to bridge those gaps.
that's
And that's what
true.
I do every week with my clients, is that, look, you need this tech solution. Here's a list of people that I know that could do it for you. You need a listing. Here's a list of exchanges that I know that could do it for you. Understanding where companies need gaps to be filled is where you start being able to provide value. And that's where, we start moving from just being a PR dispenser to advisors and consultants.
Yes, and that's like the goal, is to
Yeah.
be advisors and consultants. I always say it, like even at any job, it's like we are consulting, we are the experts in this field. So it is our job to always advise and be consulted for any big announcements. And but I think you bring up a good point, something that I didn't really appreciate before was partnerships
Yeah.
and like networking. Cause like, yeah, like networking, okay, is important. LinkedIn, this, that. But when it comes to your clients and actually finding them the right partners, whether whatever goal that they have is to be listed on the exchange, is to be featured at like token, whatever it is like these are actually super important for these companies because they're all like fairly new. And
Yeah.
it makes sense. It makes sense why you would need to, and I think what Luna does well, and that I've been in the process of learning, is what those partnerships are and how they can like really benefit clients.
Yeah. Absolutely. And even from outside of a PR perspective,
Yeah.
from an exercise that I generally do for myself, for the team, and for the clients is I forget about the fact that we're doing PR for these guys, right? And forget about any of that stuff.
Yeah.
Let's imagine that we are the owners of this business and do kind of like a brainstorming exercise and seeing what gaps that we could
Yeah.
fill. So, for example, for a lot of my clients, I've given them something that has a solution that has nothing to do with their core product. Like, you can have a marketplace of some sort,
Mm-hmm.
but they need a proper bank,
Yeah.
right? Like a banking solution that will serve them as a like a financial backbone, so that they, when they make payments of any sort, it won't get blocked, and it's fully regulated and all these things. So I give that for my clients. Sometimes they also need a payment solution, right? Like if it's a game and the game essentially is free, but it needs micro payments within the
Mm-hmm.
game, right? Like if you buy a skin or something, um, I give them a solution that does that as well. And that's also revolutionary because XYZ,
Yep.
right? Like how many games are, you imagine Fortnite for now, this is a hypothetical, right? But Fortnite is a free game
Yes.
that is probably the most successful game on the planet, right? Um, and they make money from skins, in-game
Can't believe you just said
cosmetics.
Fortnite, by the way.
Yeah.
Like,
Why?
I can't believe you said Fortnite because, like, my brother used to be obsessed with that
Oh
game.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
No,
Like
he's
back in the World of Warcraft,
oh yeah.
Fortnite, right? Like that was like all the same era.
No, World of Warcraft is way older.
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
Those
Fortnite is
all
like
blurred for me. And Dota.
Dota is also way older than Fortnite.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
All I just is I hear these words
Yeah.
between my husband and my brother and
Yeah,
all my
yeah.
cousins and all these.
I mean, Fortnite is old. It's not that old though.
What do you consider old? I'm not gonna
I
stop.
so like in Fortnite has an in-game currency,
Yeah.
right? It's not a cryptocurrency, but it is an in-game currency that has value because people are buying it every day in the billions of dollars, right? Every year at least. And this currency is called V-Bucks.
Mm.
And so crypto is just, or Web3 solutions are just taking this in-game currency and widening the scope a little bit. What if it's not just for one game? What if you could sell whatever you buy
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
once you're done playing the game, right? It's
True.
not just money thrown in the trash. Doesn't mean that you're going to make money, but it
Yeah.
also probably means that you're not going to lose all your money when you buy the game. A lot of companies are trying to implement this, but they're finding a gap in the technical side of, imagine Apple paying and you get the crypto, right? There's a technical gap there in the back end. You don't know what's happening when you tap your card to buy a coffee, right? In the background. You're not supposed to. But if we come up with a solution that can connect that for other applications, that is a multi-billion dollar application.
100%.
And so something like that is something we would translate for a PR news announcement rather than saying, "Oh, this company has introduced new payment rails or whatever," and say it's super technical. We would say now you could sell in-app purchases with so and so game or whatever.
On the
Just
App
translate
Store.
on the App Store.
Yeah. No, I think also like, but I feel like the media has also gotten like, forget Web3 publications. I'm saying like traditional media outlets, because a lot of my contacts do come from traditional now. Kind of, I'm also like merging with my Web3, but a lot of like my contacts at like the National Golf News. I'm just talking local ones. Of course, there's global ones too, but there is an appetite to constantly feature Web3 companies
Yeah.
because people are interested in reading about it, and I think why traditional media outlets are so important is because you're getting the awareness out there for the typical person who might not, like me, like I was, or like my parents, or like, you know what I mean, my husband,
Yeah.
that are like kind of the typical, like, knows a bit about Web3,
Yeah.
but like not too much, doesn't really work in it, for them to then understand, like, oh, wait, that's really cool. Like,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
want to learn more about this. And I think that's what's important about PR for these companies in marketing, also social media. Like, I know a lot of our clients use X, like Telegram, Discord for like the community, and that's amazing. But I think a lot of companies or startups that when it's relevant can also see the value into doing your traditional online social media platforms like your Insta, your Meta, your TikTok.
Oh yeah.
You know,
100%.
and I think there's also value in that because your awareness, yes, might be to like if we have like a trading platform and we're trying to, of course, it's like specific maybe to traders, but like we have a client that has a new terminal that's launching and it's like for like beginner traders, for example.
Yeah.
And so like that's something that like I would be interested in now on my trading journey, let's say. It's like the start of it. It's been literally like 3 weeks. But like that for me, that's interesting
Yeah.
though. And I want to read
Yeah.
about that in the newspaper or whatever magazine, online, on social media, Instagram posts. So I think there is still like a lot to say about like Web 2.0.
Of course.
You know what I mean? Like there's
Yeah.
still a lot there that we can
Yeah.
still bridge between
Of
both.
course. Actually, this brings me to a question that
Oh, wow.
I'm interested in. But before I get there, you're absolutely right. Like there is importance for these
Yeah,
traditional publications, and you said that there is an appetite now because people are interested in it,
totally.
right? Maybe the editors of these publications always had an appetite for it, but when I came into Web3 in 2016, right, Bitcoin was illegal in like most countries, right? And not just that, barely anyone has heard about
Yeah.
Bitcoin, and even if they did, they associate it with like money laundering and stuff like that. Some people still do, but like back then it was just that was it.
That
Like
was like the
Bitcoin is
yeah.
drug dealers.
Yeah, yeah,
Right?
yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
so um and that's what I thought initially, right? But then you kind of get into the rabbit hole and then you learn more. People have now gone through that journey and some of them have this first impression of like, oh, here's a sexy thing that are turning brokies to millionaires, right? And or here's this a story of a monkey picture that's like making teenagers
Yeah.
hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't like that. I understand the appeal, and I understand that that's how people get first impressions. I mean, we work in PR and marketing in the first place. As someone with a finance background, this is just not something I'm a huge fan of, right? I'm what you call a fundamentalist.
Mm.
Only invest in what you truly believe in or truly understand. And trading is more of a thing that people do, right? But like I treat my money like buying a house.
Yeah.
You're not gonna buy and sell a house every single day, right? You're gonna put your money up where you inspect the hell out of it, the piping, the sewage, the interior design, the every
An
studying
informed
an
decision.
informed decision.
Yes. Yeah.
That's why trading for me is one. It's not like you can't make money with trading. It's not like you can't make money with crypto. Millions of people do, but it's like saying that you could make money going to a casino. For most people, for 98% of people, it is that,
Yeah.
right? But I wanted to ask you because you are relatively new, and you are not relatively new. You're
New-ish.
going through the journey of
I
learning
say less
about
than a year
crypto.
is newish.
Yeah. What was your first impression of the industry? Like honest to God first impression. I thought it was a scam at first, right?
Yeah, you're talking like before Luna had reached out to me. Like you're
I'm
saying
talking
like
like
literally the first time I heard of Bitcoin.
yes.
Scam. Scam.
Yeah.
I actually thought,
Yeah.
excuse my nativity, but I thought it was like I first thought it was like a website
Right.
that like was a scammed website. Like you know
Yeah.
you get those scam callers all the time.
Oh
Like I
yeah,
thought
yeah,
it was
yeah,
like
yeah.
that type of thing, but like online, and there was a website with it, and it was like people were getting scammed by putting money in,
Oh yeah,
and
100%.
like and that you would like just like lose it.
Yeah.
Like I couldn't really understand it. And the first time I heard of Bitcoin and even cryptocurrencies was when I was living in America. It was around 2017. Was when I remember
Oh, that's very early.
yeah, but it was I remember because I went to American University in Washington D.C.
Should have bought Bitcoin.
I know, man. But like I thought it was a scam.
Yeah.
My ex-boyfriend at the time, he shall not be named, but was in finance
Right.
and was like, "This is a scam." Blah, 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 you know what I mean? Like,
Okay.
I could say a lot of words about him,
Yeah.
but and I remember hearing about it. Someone came to speak, like, cause I lived in DC, and DC
Right.
is like politics, politicians, and kind of you have these like leaders, Republican or Democrat, doesn't matter. I think Trump had just taken office as well. So it was during a very weird time in America, that's for sure. Regardless of your political beliefs, but
Yeah.
really regardless of them. But I remember there being someone that came into our school to give like a lecture, and it was about Bitcoin and crypto. And I remember like thinking like I think I literally like took my roommate. I was like, can we get the hell out of here? Like let's leave. Let's exit the auditorium immediately. But I just remember, but then I remember hearing about it again during COVID. That's when I heard about it again.
That's when that's when
I
it
think
really,
that's when the
like,
world heard
yeah.
about and NFTs. And
Yeah.
there's like actually an NFT art of me.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's a photographer in Dubai. His name is Walid Shah, I think.
Okay.
He had a fantastic idea, was to take all these. So I have a podcast outside of this podcast, and
This one's better. I'm sorry.
yeah, okay. Listen, subscribe. But his basically idea was he took photos of creatives who like I was a podcaster, so it was like on my own time. I wasn't getting any guests, obviously, in studio. So it was like photographers, podcasters, artists. And he basically took images of us, and it was and there was a tagline, and we all had like these kind of magazine cover arts. And he basically took that cover art and made them NFTs.
Oh,
So
wow.
then we would get 80% of the commission, he would get 20% when the
Nice.
NFT was bought. And by the way, it was genius. And then I was like, oh wait, I mean my picture is gonna be up. I should probably understand what an
Yeah.
NFT is. And that's when I actually got super into NFTs for a bit there, but then I
Oh,
kind
wow.
of lost interest. But
Like most people.
like most people.
Yeah.
But now it's like back, I feel.
Not like before.
Not
but
like
yeah.
before, but there's still a, I think the hype has kind of like
Yeah.
gone up a little bit. You know, if like on
Yeah.
a roller coaster, it's like gone up
Yeah.
there. It's like there right now.
Yeah.
But that's really been my journey. And then obviously last year, my interest didn't spike when my husband lost a shit ton of money trading. And then I was like, what the hell is this? I was like, what are you doing losing all this money? What's wrong with you? You were up, I don't know, 20% yesterday. Now
Yeah.
you're down like 50. So I had a negative connotation to crypto and then, or negative association. And then last year I kind of got into it again. But yeah, that's kind of been my journey through it. But I feel like everyone kind of has like a similar-ish journey, maybe more to me than you, of like not understanding it and then getting into it.
No, that was
Right?
my journey as well. Like,
Yeah.
I just and the thing is, right, is that today there's so much more material out there for people to understand and learn
Like
quickly.
tools, educational content.
But it's so risky though, because there are so many people. I don't know if they're scammers or like they're just like, what's the word?
Scammer?
Not, I mean, other
Con
than
artist?
scammer, not con artist. I'm looking for a specific word here. Come on, Youssef. Charlatan. A charlatan, like those gurus online. That
Yeah,
shit,
no, but I
like,
find that very interesting how you use
Yeah.
that word. Okay, okay.
yeah, I mean, they're just charlatans because they teach you they sell courses on how to make money
Correct.
trading.
Yes.
But most of these guys, I mean, maybe they know how to trade a little bit, but most of the money they make is by selling the course.
I was just gonna say, plus I feel like they're maybe behind the scenes sponsored by some of these exchanges, right? Like, could that also
Um,
be? Because I feel like some of the courses are
Yeah.
like really like zoned in on maybe a specific like token or a
Yeah.
specific exchange.
Yeah,
Or- you know
sometimes
what I mean?
sometimes yes. But for most of the time, it's just these people that they have a following and they garner a lot of network effect. And maybe we can finish this episode on like connecting marketing to something that's actually technical,
I'd love to actually.
which is network effect. But they have a good network effect of people that are just willing to buy whatever they promote, and then whatever it's basically a self feeding system where they say that this token's going to go up, so they buy, and then once they say that and they buy that, the token does go up, not because they say it, because people now want want in, and then these guys typically just sell at the peak when their followers, which is, by the way, in traditional stocks, in traditional markets, that's super illegal.
Yeah.
Like,
Like literally.
and forget about legalities and regulation. I don't want to bore anyone here, but it's like really unethical. Like, I don't know. But do you want to say something before we go on to network effect and how we generate that value?
No, I just like I the reason why I've always been turned off by these trading courses, because like I actually was
Yeah.
debating before I joined Luna to do something just to like, before I knew you had crypto 101 sessions. It was like pre-Youssef era. But Youssef has these crypto 101
I
sessions.
do not
every-
teach how to trade. I don't
I
sell
know,
these
no,
courses.
no. I know. But like, I'm just saying, like I thought I could learn about
Yeah.
crypto through them, and
Yeah.
Youssef does not teach trading
No.
courses. He just has these sessions to understand more about
Oh
like
my God, I'm sorry.
cryptocurrency. Anyways, I always was turned off by them because I always felt like in their like promotional videos, they always have a hidden agenda. That's why I never wanted to like tap into them.
Look, trading is not okay. I'm gonna quickly say this before we go on to the next subject
Okay.
or final subject. Trading is not complicated, right? There are different strategies. Anyone can learn how to trade. It's just a combination of different strategies that you can get online, right? But these strategies are not an exact science, right?
True.
It's kind of like learning how to play blackjack. it's not a foolproof method on how to always make money playing blackjack. It's just trying to make the best out of your odds, right? Make more educated guesses. These are what trading strategies are. These strategies, if you do them correctly, now you have to have the right tools in place of getting information quick and effectively, and then making decisions based on that information. And that's it.
And
It
that's
doesn't
it.
actually matter what you trade. It just matters how quick you're able to act on certain information and patterns and strategies and so on and so forth. And the fact is, for most people, that is a full-time job if you want to make some sort
Yeah.
of money. Not only that, you are competing with the rest of the market.
Yep.
Now, what does the rest of the market have against you? Well, there are these terminals called like Bloomberg terminals, right? And we had them in university. And these terminals cost a lot of money to install and stuff like that. But just to rent them, like one terminal costs something like nearly $30,000 a year.
Mm.
And then you need more tools to add onto this
Yeah.
terminal.
Yeah.
So what and so an analogy is, if people who are making money using these terminals are getting this information quicker, more effective, and easier than you competing with these terminals on your phone or on your laptop is like trying to win a Formula One race in a Corolla. Is it impossible? No, but you have to get seriously lucky to win that
Yeah.
race.
No, you're right.
So anyways, that's my gripe
Yeah,
with
I
trading,
felt
right?
very passionate
Yeah.
about it, so I was like, let him have his piece.
Yes.
Let him say what he needs to say.
Yeah.
We're good to go.
Now, I'm not saying trading is bad. You just have to come in it with like an open mind and
Yeah,
informed
that makes
decision.
sense, though.
And don't put in please don't put in any money you're not prepared to lose.
That's what they always say.
Like, yeah, I know they always say that, but like
They always say
Yeah.
like, if you're willing, like,
Yeah.
put 3K, you're willing to lose a 3K though.
throw the 3K
Yeah.
in the trash.
Yeah.
If you're not
Yeah.
willing to put it on roulette,
Exactly.
don't trade. with it.
Yeah. No, it's a good rule.
Yeah.
It's like a good rule.
Yeah.
Rule of thumb.
There is a very technical reason why companies and technical projects need marketing,
Okay.
right? As part of their business, but also as part of their actual product that they're building. And there's something called network effect, right? Now, the network effect just describes something gets better the more that people use it.
Yeah.
Like, technically gets better the more that people use it. Like, for example, why do we all use Instagram? Or why do we all use Facebook or WhatsApp or whatever? Why is it so, if I were to come up with a new app that copy pastes Instagram, and I even call it Instagram or something, right? Like it's basically the same thing, right? Why would that product fail? If I were to just ask you, like, as a mental exercise.
Repeat that last part again.
If I were to make another version of
Okay.
Instagram,
Okay.
right, and it's the exact same thing, exact
Yes.
same functionality, exact same UI,
Yes.
UX, why would that iteration fail? Take it a step further. What if I make a better version of Instagram? It's just kind of elevated, right?
Okay.
More HD photos, more nice things, right?
Whatever. Reels
Why
are
is
better,
it? Yeah, why is it still hard to do something like that?
Market it.
Market it?
No, you're asking like to do marketing PR.
No, forget about marketing PR for a second. Like, if I come out with a new social media app, what's the first and most difficult thing that I need to achieve for this product? Like, getting people in. Why would they not sign up for a new social media app?
Well, there needs to be like a twist to it. There needs to be a unique factor to it.
There is, okay, let's say the unique factor exists,
Okay.
right?
I feel like I'm not getting this exercise at all.
The reason why, like, you're on Instagram is because other people are on Instagram.
Okay, yeah, there's a community
If
there.
you didn't,
True.
yeah, if you were the only person in your social circle that has Instagram, you're not gonna use it. Like, no
Okay.
one you know is on there. No one you follow, like no one, like, celebrity is on there. So the idea is that, Instagram has a lot of users.
Yeah.
And that's why Instagram as a product works.
Yes.
Currency as well, like economies.
Yeah.
The dollar is useful because a lot of people use the dollar. But for example, if you go to a different country and you have a different currency, it's annoying because other people are not using, other restaurants or other shops or other hotels are not using this currency. And you kind of have to go to an exchange and swap it out and pay a little fee. And you have to do this whole thing. But you just want to be like other people within a network. And it's the same thing. And by the way, this company probably does this the
Mm-hmm.
best, right? It's the same thing with Apple. The nice air, like Apple ecosystem, I don't know, the walled garden they call it, where all Apple products just connect so easily
It's
with
seamless.
iPhone
It's
and
seamless.
MacBook.
And Apple Watch
Yeah,
and AirPods and
yeah.
yeah.
But the moment you get a Bose, or the moment you get something that's non-Apple, it's like, oh, you have to open up your Bluetooth.
Connect to this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so Apple uses their network effect, the fact that a lot of people have iPhones, to sell their other products.
Totally.
Right? And that's the strategy. Now we get to crypto. It's the same thing, right? Crypto has value for different reasons,
Yes.
right? There's fundamental reasons and product reasons. But no matter how good the product is, right? From a technical perspective, no matter how secure, fast anything is, right? It's going to be useless if no one knows about it.
Mm-hmm.
But at this flip side, it gets better the more people use it. Like, for example, even like banks, for
Yeah.
example, I choose banks that are easy to receive and make payments from,
For sure.
right? Like, I'm not going to choose some obscure bank that no one's heard about, even if it might be better. I want to be able to receive the salary the moment it gets paid out. I want to be able to like split the bill and just send someone some money or receive money,
Yeah.
right? And so this is the fact that there's a network community, you can say, or a lot of people using a product like Bitcoin has actual monetary value to Bitcoin. There's a relationship here. The more people that are aware of Bitcoin, the more valuable it becomes.
For sure.
Because the more people that are aware of Bitcoin means that it'll funnel into more people that might buy into Bitcoin, funnels into actual buyers of Bitcoin, and funnels into actual investors in Bitcoin. So the correlation is the more people know about a product, the more valuable we make it. And so that's what we do for a lot of our clients. A lot of our clients are applications, exchanges, marketplaces, whatever the case may be. Insert blank, right? Something that people could use at the retail level. Retail level means B2C, right?
Yeah.
And they become more valuable the more users they get,
Yeah.
the more viewers they get, the more followers they get. And so there is a tangible tech benefit for us marketing and making their products more available to the open market, right?
I think the goal a lot of the time, especially with like the clients that I've been onboarded with, which probably there's a correlation to this, is that they're beginner type of products. And I think like I am the target audience. So I always think to myself, like, especially we have a client that has like a social, we have a community. I understand the value of having a community backed up by your product or your service, because that community is like, it's like kind of your traditional PR marketing, word of mouth advertising, right? Where we always, I feel like, go back to basics at some point in PR and marketing, even with social media, whatever it is, we always at some point we'll go back to basics of like, okay, this is our foundation and how do we build up from it? Whether it's a company milestone, an announcement, whether it's being online, social, I think once I say, oh, hey, Youssef, have you ever heard of X? It will help you with XXX. You're like kind of sold.
Yeah.
Kind of there's like that influencer culture, but it's normal people who
Yeah.
aren't really influencers.
Which is huge.
It's huge.
That's
That is the value. You want that. That's
yeah.
one of the goals.
I mean, that's how Bitcoin did it.
There you go.
Bitcoin never hired a PR agency. Like,
should have hired us. But yeah. I agree.
that was such a long-winded explanation.
No, but it was interesting. Thanks for sharing that with us, Youssef.
No worries.
On behalf of
Reach out to our info at Luna PR.
Yeah. We should probably plug that in.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for listening to this week's episode. We hope y'all enjoyed it. And we'll see you next time with hopefully a guest.
Yeah, we'll see you next time. Actually, I'm going to say this.
Okay.
Our guest backed out today.
Yes. But look at us able to think on our feet.
Probably make it
be
better.
Adaptable.
Yeah.
That's part of our personas and traits.
Yeah. They backed out last minute.
Yeah.
And it's all your fault because we don't have enough viewers.
I'm going to cut that out for sure.
No.
I'm going to cut that out for sure. Thanks, guys, for listening. Bye.
Bye.